Take a look around you. Everything seems solid, objective, and real. But what if the reality you are experiencing right now is actually a simulation, and you simply haven't noticed the glitches? We see these errors in modern AI, moments where the system confidently states something false. These hallucinations happen because AI doesn't know facts. It simply mathematically predicts the next most logical piece of data to fill in a gap. Neuroscience reveals that your brain operates on these same predictive mechanics. Sitting in a dark, silent skull, your mind doesn't experience the outside world directly. It guesses what is there based on fragmented electrical signals. Because the brain is predicting reality rather than recording it, your perception of the world is effectively a biological simulation, a mental model that constructs the very environment you believe you are merely observing. This process is called predictive processing. Your brain builds an internal model of reality first, and only uses your physical senses to check for errors and correct its own guesses. Look at how the brain actively overrides physical evidence. In this wireframe analysis, the mask is definitively curved inward, but because your brain expects a face to project outward, its internal model forces you to see a normal convex shape regardless of the raw data. This predictive engine even controls your biology through the placebo effect. If the brain predicts that a fake pill will heal you, it can physically lower blood pressure or block pain receptors in response to a medical reality that doesn't actually exist. If an internal prediction algorithm is powerful enough to bend physical geometry and turn off biological pain, your default perception of the world cannot be trusted as an objective truth. The brain runs the simulation to save energy. Processing every new piece of data from scratch is exhausting, so the mind compresses reality into predictable loops, automated habits, fears, and reactions that run on autopilot. The master operating system governing these loops is identity. This biological filter determines which thoughts are processed and which behavioral loops are allowed to execute. A Yale Law School study illustrates the power of this filter. Participants were given this table of results and asked to determine if a new skin cream was effective. The math experts in the group solved the complex statistical problem perfectly. Then, researchers switched the labels. The raw numbers remained identical, but the topic became gun control. Suddenly, those same math experts could no longer interpret the statistics correctly. The data hadn't changed, but the context now threatened their political identity. Their brains distorted the logic of the math to protect the integrity of their internal simulation. This proves that raw IQ is often subordinate to identity. Even the most intelligent people will use their processing power to defend the brain's model rather than challenge it. Breaking out of this programming requires a specific type of override, best demonstrated during a 1983 Cold War crisis at a Soviet nuclear command center. The system inputs were absolute. A computer definitively confirmed an incoming American nuclear strike. According to the strict military protocol, the only logical response was an immediate counterlaunch. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov paused to analyze the system's logic. He reasoned that a real first strike would involve hundreds of missiles, not 5. By questioning the automated alarm, he overrode the system and prevented global catastrophe. This is metacognitive intelligence. It is the ability to step outside a system, even one inside your own head, and identify its flaws. To escape your biological matrix, you must treat your internal alarms with that same skepticism. Level 5 intelligence is defined by adaptation. 2 billion years ago, oxygen was a toxic waste product that threatened all life on Earth. The organisms that survived were the ones that evolved to use that poison as fuel. Hacking your own simulation starts with a Bayesian mindset. You must treat your personal beliefs as mathematical probabilities, hypotheses that are constantly tested and updated with new physical evidence. Next, you must overhaul your environment. Digital, social, and physical spaces act as passive programmers, normalizing the specific behavioral loops that reinforce your current identity. You cannot think your way into a new identity. You must force the brain's predictive model to adapt by altering its external data inputs. This is supported by self-perception theory. Your brain discovers its identity by observing your repeated physical actions. When you change what you do, The mind eventually updates the code of who you are to match the new evidence. The systems governing your life are running right now. You can either remain bound to the default settings of the simulation, or you can step up and take control of the controls. Ultimately, awareness of the simulation is the only metric that separates the programmer from the program.